And what am I announcing?
They're right behind you.
Oh, right behind me there. Oh, good. All right. So far, the weather is perfect. We've got 150,000 people following us on Facebook. I think Saturday is going to be a signature day. Parking, again, I'm going to reiterate what we did last night at dinner. You cannot park, especially down below where you are. You have to try and move your trucks and vehicles. We have more carvers coming in. They're calling. It's nice weather. There's more and more coming, and you know what? Bring it on. Sure. And that's what we're saying. So,
can we pull in to drop it off?
Huh?
We can pull in and drop it off.
Yeah,
right?
pull in and drop off, right. Sawdust and scrap, again, separate it, move it to the front, keep it cleaned up. This is, you have no idea how much easier this year is than past years. I guess you all do. Okay, and then there's a fish dinner at Elio's tomorrow, Friday night, and I'm trying to get a head count. It's $10 a plate. And I think everybody knows, you know, what happened the other night, so we're just trying to keep Rosa happy, and that helps. That helps us for next year. Lost and found. There's a hotel key for the Royal. You need to see Robbie Rouse. Robbie has the key.
No, he needs a key.
Oh, he needs his key. Oh, that's his key. Okay. Somebody lost their sunglasses. See us. And there's someone lost an iPhone, and Zoe has it. Okay. I also need to ask people that are going through Pittsburgh or to Pittsburgh on Sunday. I have 14 people that need to get to the airport at some point. So anyone going that direction, please come see me. I'm working on departures today. That's my job today. So I guess that's it, and we're going to get a little started now. Is Igor going to?
No?
No.
We're going to do that a little later.
Okay. I want to introduce to you Tom and Donna Ceriani. First, we're going to have Tom. He does chainsaw carving tools and technology. An update. As you know, he is one of the major suppliers of our industry. So he's up and coming and doing a great job. Great job. So I want to welcome Tom. And then after Tom, Donna's going to be doing production carving and the quick carve. And here you go.
Cool. Check, 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 check. Hey, you me over here. That's right. Hey, thanks for coming out to the Rendezvous. This is a great time of the year for me. Thanks, Liz, for putting the Rendezvous together all these years. We all appreciate you. Now, Ridgeway every year is a special time for me because I graduated from Ridgeway back in 1995. I'm not afraid to say I'm going to be 40 years old and been carving for 15 years. And so when you guys all come to my hometown, it's really awesome to see you guys. The different carvers I've met over the years has been phenomenal, and you guys are all like family to me. Proud to bring you to my town. You know, when I was going to school in Ridgeway, I raised all kinds of, commotion in the town, and had a good time here. So I have lots of childhood memories and lots of adult memories here at Ridgeway. So if you would open up your agenda to page 1. No, we don't have it. Okay. We want to talk about gasoline chainsaws first. Keep them clean. You guys had the 101 and 201 from Tim Clock. But I talked about power to weight ratio. You want to get the most out of what you're holding all day. Okay, so we want to have light saws that move fast, because you don't want to stand there all day. A lot of quick carves going on these days, and so you need speed. Gas powers is where it's at. You're going to be outside carving fast. Environmental, the newer saws are heavier because they're all corked up and they don't breathe right, but they do run really good. So I ran one yesterday. I was really impressed with the Husky. Let's see. Setting the carburetor and all that. The older saws, you can still tweak everything. The newer saws are auto tune. I don't know. I don't know. They run good, but I don't know if I like the whole idea of hooking saws to computers. Unless you can like program to go faster, that'd be right. But so the newer saws are heavier and auto tune. So I like to stick with older saws where you can have them poured and polished and run a little faster. Speaking of running faster, we have AV gas. Does anybody use airplane fuel in their saws? There we go. A few.
You always want in a crowd.
You know, ethanol will destroy your chainsaw faster than too much sawdust and all the dirt on it, okay? So, screws up the carburetor and all the hoses. And the newer saws are getting better with all that. If you're not treating for ethanol in your gas, you're a slow death to your chainsaw. You're gonna find something too big of a problem with it, you're not gonna be able to fix. And I'm not trying to beat up dealers, but they like to sell you a new saw rather than fix your old saw. So treat for ethanol if you can't get anything else. Use high test gasoline, spend an extra 50 cents on it. I like the AV gas because my line of work, I come home, I'm stinky, I smell like fuel. I drive a fuel truck during the day, and she carves all day, and she's got beautiful hair.
I stink.
You stink worse than I do sometimes. Running regular gas, it gets in her hair, and it gets all over your clothes. When you run AV gas, it has a total different smell to it. It's 100 octane. Your saw is meant to run up to 98% or 98 octane. So it's a little bit more than you need, but higher octane just means your saw is running cooler. So if you're using 87, you're already too hot, and the motor is going to blow up that way.
Where do you get AV gas?
You get it at the airport. Any local airport. I go in there with a credit card. I can go 24 hours a day, swipe it. I get like a 14-gallon tub of gas. Treat the whole mixture. Talk about a little bit about mixture. I like AMSoil 100-to-1. It's a synthetic. I used steel for years. I went to their synthetic steel. My mechanic was saying a lot more carbon in your saw with the steel version. So I just listened to what he said. He said find a new oil, make it synthetic. So I went to the AMSoil. I'm really loving that. It's got a nice blue color. You can't hardly mix our gas up. You know, you definitely know putting blue gas in your saw with that AMSoil. Landowner or professional? If you're just starting out, landowner saw, homeowner saw are perfect because they're cheap and you can get into carving for a few $100 for your first saw. Converting it over to a chainsaw carving bar and chain, sprocket, all that stuff is going to cost you a few more bucks. But when we first started out, landowner saws where it's at. Bought them, used them, didn't know anything about fixing them, cleaning them, sharpening them, didn't know any of that stuff. So, you know, you had people doing that stuff for you, getting them sharp, and when they broke, you're pretty much out. You know, you can't really rebuild them. Professional saws, you can have that saw for a lifetime. They make the parts, you can get them rebuilt. You know, I have an excellent mechanic. He takes care of all my saws, keeps them running top performance. Easy to start technologies. When we started carving, those 250s, if you ever run a steel 250, are so hard to get them to pop. That was her hardest problem. If I would get the saw running for her, she would carve all day. And once it was warmed up, she was fine. I bought her an easy start as soon as they came out, and I don't know about the new technology, but I'm talking 10 years ago, the first ones come out on 170. She pulled it right apart the first day. So she finally was getting the whole starting technique figured out, building the right muscles up. It takes some time, especially on some of your bigger saws. So professional saws also have, a lot of them have a decompression button, which anybody who's ever run a chainsaw knows if you press that, it helps a lot starting it. So the Easy Start technologies, probably really good for kids. Not too young, but you know, get them into carving. Hand warmers on saws, I never used any of those. Try not to do too much outside in the wintertime. Work inside. Electric start, oh, that would be nice. Has anybody seen Dennis Beach's electric setup he has? He has one saw, he can just push in something, fire it up. it's a bigger saw, so he's working on it. It'd be nice if everybody could just take something cordless and hit your saw and start them up. We'll see what happens with that. Always trying to innovate, come up with new ideas in carving to make it easier for everybody. So, carving bars. Oh my God, there's so many carving bars out there now. We have the dime tip, the quarter tip, the toonie tip, and now they're coming out with even smaller ones. They're like 8mm, 7mm, and that's all because of the new chain that came out. Steel's the only one I believe is making it, is 43 gauge chain, and they've been making 3/8 chain for quite some time in 43 gauge, but now they're making quarter pitch, and that's the standard in our carving industry, is quarter pitch chain for your carving bars. So now that they have smaller chain, it is quite nice to cut a little faster. The tips are hardened. These are Canada bars. They're made in British Columbia, Canada. Takes a while to get stuff all the way to Bridgeway, but they're a great bar. Most people like them. We use some steel bars that are already 43 gauge. They're nice too. They make some sprocket nose steel bars that don't cut too bad. The only thing is, when you're running a sprocket nose, the sprocket has to match the sprocket on the saw. And Tim probably explained that, but with a hard nose bar, whatever sprocket you're running here is the type of chain you need to run, and with no sprocket here, you don't have to worry about the sprocket added. Where are we at here? So what's exciting about this 43 gauge, might as well talk about it, is you can run lighter saws and get more speed out of the chain just because you're cutting less curve. The curve is what that tooth is taking on the right side and the left side as it makes a cut. So here, you get it right angled. You can see a 50 gauge cut here, a 43 gauge cut. We could pass this around. But I made up this little keychain so you can see the different sized teeth. And we'll pass it around. The middle tooth is the biggest tooth. The two on the left-hand side are quarter pitch. So there you can see the two different size quarter pitches, 50 gauge and 43 gauge, and the three different sizes, a 3/8 chain, which is also a standard chain in carving. We got standard 3/8, we got 3/8 low pro, and we got 3/8 43 gauge. So I'll pass these around. So removing less wood every cut, less fatigue, less power on the saw, you know. In my opinion, it's the new range. It's fastest and it's cleaner cuts. Steel makes a chain that has a safety raker on it. No big deal. Like Tim probably showed you, I use a file instead of a little die grinder. I file off the edges of those safety rakers, sharpen them up a little bit. Tim uses a goofy file made by Save Edge. I use this one. It's an 8-inch. It's a V file. It gives you, if goofy file is one step up from a round file, then this is one step up from a goofy file. And I sharpened with goofies for 2 or 3 years, and I love the way they sharpened. But getting on some different forms other than the carving form, like some racing forms, they're all raving about these files. So I asked Save Edge if I could become a dealer and sell you guys these files with bars and chain, and they denied dealership. So I'm still promoting their file. That's the file I love. You can use the round file, goofy file, or this file. What I like about my file here is it sharpens every saw I have. I can do the smallest quarter pitch chain all the way up to my biggest saws with one file. So it also does the rakers for the top of the raker, and it also does the side of rakers. So one file does it all. Now, bar maintenance, do we have the bars back up? Does anybody know what this is, what this tool is?
Piece of junk.
Yeah, but it does have one really nice feature. It's this right here. And I know everybody's carving their hearts out here at Ridgeway. They bring me down their saws and they're so packed with sawdust. In the groove, all the way down. You can't even find the oiler. So If you have sawdust blocking that little tiny oil hole, even a little piece, you're stopping a lot of the bar oil from getting around that saw. Now, it has a little cleaner here. You run this down, get it away from the oil hole. It's the most important thing. You should do that every 2 or 3 tanks of gas. Really clean that groove out. The more sawdust, the oil you build up in that groove, the faster you're going to wear your bars out. So wear them out fast if you want. Come see me, but clean them out often. Get that oil out of that oil hole, the sawdust. We could talk a little bit about oil. Regular bar chain oil was never good enough for me because it just wasn't tacky enough. Being in the oil business, I started making my own bar oil where I could buy 55-gallon drums of bar oil base, and it's real. It's not. They don't have any tactifier in it. I found another company I could buy tactifier from, which is really cool because now I can make my own bar oil and make it as tacky as I want. So most of your standard oils, steel oil, the better oils are like 1% tactifier. I just make mine 2%. It's not so good in the winter if it's super cold unless you keep it warm. But once it's in the saw and the saw's running, it's fine. But the tactifier is important because you got to keep the oil on the chain the whole way around. If you're throwing it all off at the tip, guess what? The underneath of the bar is going to start mushrooming it out. Bar maintenance is very important. It doesn't seem like anybody really knows what to do with those. After the bar starts getting some burrs on the end of it or mushrooming it out, you want to take your file and sit there, or not die grinders, but belt sanders work really good for taking that groove off. And I like it. It's supposed to be a nice straight groove. On each edge of the bar, I'd like to round it off just a little bit. Just take a little bit off, so as it starts to wear down, there's nothing to mushroom out. The metal's already gone. So take off the corners of your bar, especially around the tip. That's going to help a lot because a lot of times your chain riding around here is hitting those divots or notches or little pieces of chip in here, and it's wearing out the bottom of your teeth on your, or the tie straps on your chain. So cleaning that, keeping it polished up. I know other carvers, they even go and they polish the inside of the groove. And when you spin one of their chains, talking about Jeff Moore, his chains spin almost endless around there. They spin so free because he takes the extra time to get a super polished bar. The rails, all the way around, even inside the groove he polishes. So that all makes a big difference because you all know friction is our enemy. And sprocket nose don't have all that much friction at the tip. And they're great for cutting wood, okay? But they work for carving, but when you want to get down and get the advantage and the smaller tips, you have to go with the hard nosed tips, which metal on metal is going to wear out. So beat the friction with good oil. Keep your bar tips dressed up. Keep them clean. And use the crap out of it because they work for a lot of things. Now, better carvers that I've talked to, like, I'll say Randy Bonney, he prefers quarter bars. He doesn't even touch a dime bar for any of his work. He calls it quarter mania. He does fantastic work. If anybody's seen Randy Bonney's Eagles, you'll be able to tell. 2D bars are really nice. I can't talk right now. 2D bars are nice for your blocking. They're small enough where you can still do, like on a big bear, if you want to do some riffles in the chest here. It's great for that. It's not too small. And dime, we get in there for the eyes and cleaning out the ears for the dime tips. They're really nice. And size of the bar, this is a picture of an 8-inch bar. This looks like a 12-inch dime. And 8-inch are really nice. We don't always run an 8-inch bar, but being in close to your carving brings you so much more control because you can use the saw up against your body. 12-inch, you know, you got the reach, but now you don't have near the control.
From my experience with an 8-inch bar, the saw gets in the way all the time.
Saw does get in the way. That's why they need to make smaller saws, I think. But still a lot of power. You can do something. Yeah. Anybody vote for that? We'll get on it, okay? What's the next slide?
You've already-
Okay, so I was talking 43 and 50 gauge chains. There's also 58 and 63 and actually a 72 driver on your bigger Huskies. And all that means is how wide the groove is for your tooth to ride in. What about electric saws? Oh my. 4 or 5 years ago, I bought this electric saw here at the Rendezvous. And it's a Dawna, and the Makita saws are the same exact thing. I don't know what's underneath the Makita's hood for power-wise, if it's the same motor or whatever. But technology is advancing quickly on these. This one's set up with the 43 gauge bar. This is actually one of the ones that I come up with, a Donna scalpel, and it's pretty fast. And actually, when I bought it, I got a 10-tooth racing sprocket, quarter pitch for it. So that's pretty important. The bigger the sprocket here, the faster your chain speed is. You lose a little bit of your torque, but you gain chain speed. I find that chain speed is more important than doing the detail, and you know, if it's going slow, it wants to jump more. The faster you get the chain going, do the carving is always seems to be the better way to go. So I'm saying more chain speed is the answer for these things. They got plenty of power, but get the chain speed up. And this still don't cut anywhere near like electric saws. I mean, like gas saws. So we've run that one for a few years. I have another one set up with 3/8. It works okay. And then we started getting these battery saws. This was the first one, and it's been through the ringer. We've used this one quite a bit. She likes it more than I do because it doesn't make any noise. I like to go fast, make a lot of noise. But this is really just for detail, and this is the Steel 160. If you miss something on your carving and you just brought it in, you're going to start finishing it. And this thing's sitting right there. And you don't have to grab extension cord, you don't have to start up a saw, you don't have to do it. You just grab this thing and you just put the few lines on it that you missed or that little speck that you want to just clear out. That's great for this saw.
How long does the battery last?
It lasts about 15-20 minutes. We've been using them for a long time. You get like 500 charges out of a saw or out of one battery. I just want to demonstrate so you can hear the chain speed on this. This doesn't have a racing sprocket. It just has a steel chain on there and a bar. So that's about the speed you get. The new one, since my wife is allergic to chocolate, flowers, and all that stuff, she gets chainsaws for Christmas, birthday. She batted her eyes at me, and she said, I want to try the new 200. And I am so impressed with this saw. I'll just give you a chain speed, maybe. It's a little bit louder, and it is cutting a lot faster. I wish I had some way to measure the chain speed difference, but not that technical yet.
And variable speed.
Yeah, and the great thing about that, it already comes set up with a quarter pitch sprocket, so really all you have to do is get a carving bar and a chain. So eliminate the whole monkeying around with sprockets with that saw, and also with the 160. This is the Cobalt. Mike's using this one. Now the steel price range is going to be about $1,000. You get the battery, 2 batteries, a charger, and the saw. Once you have the batteries, that's the most expensive thing. You can buy the leaf blowers, hedge trimmers, all that cool stuff for it. We have the leaf blower, we use it every day. I'm sure this Cobalt has a bunch of different attachments too. It's got 80 volt battery, and it's set up with a Canon Carve on there, and we're going to give you a demonstration. This one has extra truck speed. Push that. Okay. So that's the speed. But the cool thing is, I was running this the other day, it's going slow. But once you hit the wood, it kicks it down into a like fast gear or something, and it seems to want to cut. I kind of like the steel a little bit better, but if you don't have $1,000 to drop on a chainsaw, That one, what, 400 bucks, less than 400?
$2.99 you get a battery and the saw. It's the same as that Greenworks saw that's up there on the, it's made by the same company, it's just made for Lowe's. And it for $2.99 you get a battery, the charger, and the saw. And then I had to make a replacement to run the rim sprocket.
Right. I think Mike's gonna be our sprocket guy. If anybody wants to see sprockets, he actually took the sprocket and converted it to quarter pitch through some machining. So if you want to get any of these other saws and get like a racing sprocket or change it over to quarter pitch, Mike said he could probably manufacture a couple. So see Mike McGuire for that. I've never run those other ones there. I did run the Husky. The Husky's not up here. Scott Dow has a Husky, and it seems faster than the 160. I don't know how I'll do against the 200. But it's 3 pounds lighter, so you might want to trade a little bit of power and speed for 3 pounds lighter, especially with a saw like this, because you're just basically doing detail or inside work with it. Because you can do a lot of carving with this. It's surprising, you know.
What does that weigh? What does that weigh?
It weighs 13 pounds, which is kind of heavy, but I think Scott's is just over 10 on that Husqvarna. What do we got there?
Husqvarna electric chainsaw.
Oh, okay.
Scott Dow carving in a tree.
Nice. But I could see how tree trimmers would like that because they don't have to start that thing up all the time. And that tree trimmers, we might as well talk about top handle saws. We don't use a top handle saw. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we're still talking about electric and battery saws, I guess. Here is a steel electric saw. We have two of them. This is the 170. Okay, they make a 170 and a 210, and they're the same body style, and they weigh the same, but only the 170, or the 210 has 30% more horsepower. And when I put bars on both of them and raced them, you could tell the difference. They're kind of almost comfortable saw to run. You know, they're all shaped and built a little bit different. The battery ones look just like a chainsaw, so they run like a chainsaw. This one's got a gouge on it, so when winter comes in Ridgeway, I set her up all powered inside. She's got 4 saws to just go to town to get the stuff done. Even though the weather's crappy, but this power gouge works really nice on there. We've had 4 different power gouges, and the big one is awesome. It removes a lot of wood, but it's heavy. The smaller one, the 12 inchers, they're great. They reach where you want to go, but we have one of the shorter ones. And if you want to just block out a bear and just say, all right, we'll put the saw down and grab this thing, you could detail the whole thing with these small power gouges on a like that. It's pretty neat. It's pretty good. Shaping equipment, we all use die grinders and sanders and all that good stuff for shaping. I asked Sabre if they would actually just start making these bits already dished out into an eyeball bit. They said the metal's too hard. I don't know, they can put all these burrs on here, but they can't dish this out. So I started dishing some out, and it's not fun. I use a carbide cutter. This thing's spinning in an angle grinder, or I mean in a die grinder. And then I have an air die grinder where I'm cutting this carbide out here. It's messy, and it's getting all over me. And I slipped once making one for Joe and Zoe and cut really bad right here, and you can see the tendon going back and forth. So it was a little bit gross. So I decided I'm not making any more eyeball bits. We had enough. I found a company in Ridgeway that can dish these out for me. So I'm going to be selling them. I have a few of these. I got different sizes. These are eyeball bits that are dual purpose because you can punch in an eyeball, you can do texturing and stuff. Then you can also go through and do all your shaping with this, which is really cool. This is a cylinder. Here's the original eyeball bit. You can buy these bits for $5. Dish them out yourself, you know, a million different ways. And they work. They made great eyeballs, but they didn't cut and detail the wood too good. They left it pretty fuzzy, so they didn't stay sharp long. So we just modified them. And so if you guys want a dual-purpose cutter for eyes, and having different sizes is really nice. I've made some out of like this is one here cut out of a ball. And you can see I didn't cut the ball all the way in half. I only went halfway, then I dished it out. So this has its own unique tool to it, purposes, where this one has a little bit different purposes. But each one of these carving and shaping bits has a unique purpose, and it all works for what we do. If you want some eyeball bits, or you want to try out, we have Makita die grinders, battery operated, 18 volt. Plenty of power to run all these bits. If you want to test some of the bits we made, come on down. I had a video, it was real cute, making some eyeball bits. But, is it up? You want to play? Take a break.
Which video do you want, Tom?
Someone had a question, Tom.
The eyeball, yeah. They're like $35 because I have to have somebody make them, do that groove. You can go ahead and make them yourself. You just get a bit and do it yourself, but it's tricky and it's dangerous. And I made a few other ones. I put some cut-proof Kevlar gloves on it. I wasn't making that mistake again.
But in order to make those eyes, you gotta have some sort of a lathe or something.
You have to have two die grinders. This one's chucked up spinning, and then I put that in a vise, okay, crank it down. And then I take another one with a carbide cutter, and it just happens to be an air die grinder, which spins faster, and then remove it that way. It's fun to do, the first one, but then once you get all that carbide all over you, and your bit that's cutting these or is getting dull, it's not any fun anymore. And there's a lot of material to removing these, so have them professionally done. The guy's machine shop is amazing. You walk in. Oh, there's no volume?
There's some action going on.
Oh, there we go.
She's right here. She can talk.
Can we plug my phone?
We were all just learning how to make the cutest bears ever.
Oh, there's a volume. There's no volume?
No.
I don't want to miss anything.
Can you grab that?
Yeah, the video. Donna's getting it.
Okay. Call up a different video. Anyone. Other specialties. That right there is a 4-inch angle grinder. The end on there is got holes in it. You can actually see your work as you're sanding it. That's pretty nice. Actually, you can order those on Elegant Ice. They're made for ice carvers, so it's a pretty aggressive paper that's in there, and they seem to hold up really well. We've been running that one for 2 years on that.
Is that 24 grit?
It is. I think it is. Who said that? Oh. Yep.
Plan B. There's always a plan B.
So she actually made that whole bear with a battery saw. We went outside and made a video of it. It was a lot of fun because it does make some really fast cuts and you get some detail in there with it. Anybody running hydraulic saws? Couple? Yeah, most people I'm talking to running those things, they really like them. It's just a different option for indoors.
This one has his eye.
Tom, give me your mic.
This is his actual eye one. That's just me showing the lip ones.
You want the eye one?
You see that angle grinder has some good power for being able to some of the ones that been heavy to use your battery than your typical Makita drill and impact. It's 18 volt lithium ion, but it's good, so it's got a little more
Go ahead and play yours.
In the background there's a picture of the die grinder there, battery operated. You guys can come down and check them out. I did a demonstration on the eye.
Who's talking to this?
For what we call quick finish, for fair entertainment kind of things. We can just quick hurry up, sand, burn, paint, and just kind of just.
You really play yours, right?
This is also the die grinder.
Is that what he wanted there?
I like using usually the flame is what I like
Oh, what do you want?
to use because I have a lot more control. It's smaller, but I have control for shaping.
Did I use the other bit for this one, sir? No? We did the other side, but then I think I grabbed it. That's our son. He decided to do some video too, production. But was that the eye? I was going to do the eye next.
What do you want? You can
Oh
do
yeah,
the
the
eye.
Yeah,
eyeball.
continue.
The eyeball video
Yeah.
is good.
Just little guys.
Yeah,
This is actually one I made to fit the 1/8" shaft on a diagram or a drummer.
Yeah, drum it too.
Put the eye in and dig it out.
These real small bears that comes in handy.
Just kind of have fun with it. Just lots of uses for this.
If you plug it in.
I see how she's putting the eyebrows on with that. It actually looks really good. You could do the whole bear's face. It's just the eyeball bit.
Take out a
Putting
bear.
all the little hairs on there.
Want to get a little fur around the nostril there.
It's just freaking adorable.
Well, how it was, Carve with the battery slot, and the whole video with me talking was like literally 7 minutes and Carve with the bear. But that battery slot is amazing.
Just look at the expression on it.
You guys hollowing it out first before she decides to stick the eyeball in there. And you can, as she's wiggling that around, you can make the eye socket bigger. Make different size. You don't have to make exactly that size. If you keep wobbling it around, you can make up to twice the size eyeball. That's a trick right there. I love that trick. I use it for the nostrils.
Yeah, that's what's so nice about that one in particular, because it has so many uses for it. You can sand all around it or put the eyes in, but the medium one's the best one.
That's the sphere, right, with the eyes will cut the top.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
the balls cutting half. You're gonna have to make them on your own because
Yeah,
this
they're-
guy that's dishing these eyeball bits out doesn't want to have to cut half the bit away and then start. I was just if you want to do it, make them yourself, and then you can be as cool as me because I'm the only one who's got
What do you cut them in
half
half
ball.
with, Tom?
Huh?
What do you cut them in half with?
I actually chuck them up to the die grinder and I run the thing.
But we do have the cylinders where they're made with that, so they're very adequate to use. I mean, they're just not quite as hollow in the middle. But those are the ones that he's getting made.
If you want to make your own eyeball bit,
So
which
they're
is fine
fresh.
by me, and you want to do a ball, here's the trick. Put it in your die grinder, go over to a bench grinder, turn it on with a stone wheel, and just sit there and chew half of it off, and it takes a long time. But especially not the half-inch ball so much, or that little teeny one, but the 1-inch ball. There's a lot of, I'd rather be cutting wood than metal, so you want to make the eyeballs out of the half rounds, go for it. Here is another Mike McGuire tool. It's he's got this brush on here, which is really nice for getting into tight spots, but he's had these handles made up. They're bearings, and you can hold on to this thing way out here and get way better control. So that's a product you can see Mike for. Looks like nice bearings in there, and I haven't got to use it a whole lot, but I can definitely see a place for this in the carving world. Even if you put a flappy on the end of this instead of this, you know, getting in those hard to reach areas. Top handle chainsaws, we didn't really talk about them, but here's one. It's an Echo. They're not very comfortable. Some carvers like them. I'd rather just.
361.
I don't know. There's no number on
It
it.
seems like a lot of left-hand carvers prefer those.
The 330. I don't know. We're pretty loyal to steel, but we do have Huskies and Dawnas and all the other ones out there and Echoes. Is there any questions? Pretty much wrapped up everything I want to talk about.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The carving burrs, when they block up with wood, some people say you can burn that off.
Yeah.
Some people say to brush it. Others say if you brush it, it melts the burr.
I don't know.
Well,
Go ahead.
How do you?
with my experience with sabers over the years, I still have ones that we bought whenever we first started here, you know, like 15 years ago or so. But what I do is I take carburetor cleaner, and then I take one of those little brushes. But it doesn't really affect them. I mean, I'm still using the ones. Actually, about one of those ones is quite a few years old that you just showed it there. But it doesn't really affect them. It cleans them real fast if you're in a hurry, but if burning them is probably less harsh on them. But I use mine all the time like that. I just hit the carburetor cleaner. It melts any little tar or any pine pitch or anything that's in there. Cleans them real fast.
Someone suggested chalk. You can chalk the burr beforehand. I don't know. That was just on Facebook. They said they use chalk on the burr while they have to reapply it. You might want to try it. I don't know.
I like carburetor cleaner because it's just easy to clean. It brings like
You're up.
new.
Hey, then all the way from Brockport, Pennsylvania, let's hear for Donna! Ceriani! I'm a biggest fan, so I'm allowed to introduce her like that, and I'd love to introduce her like that. I'll be right here, dear.
Well, like you said, my name's Donna Ceriani. So how many of you guys know a wood carver who's allergic to wood? Right? Well, you just met one. So I'm a little nasally. I'll just apologize for that because there's certain types of wood that I do have some allergies to. Pine, I'm used to, my body kind of adjusts to, but some of the other ones that are being brought in, the carvers kind of affected me this week, so I do apologize for being a little nasally here. Come up here. But my role here is to talk a little bit about production and quick cars, because that's what I'm known for in this industry. But how it all started was with us in our shop. Because like Tom had said, he is the one that's in the fuel oil industry, so the shop is my baby. I take care of everything there, from running the skid steer to everything, dealing with the people, the carver, the cleanup girl, and all that kinds of crazy stuff. He stops in and checks up on me, and then I hand him a saw that I broke, and he fixes it. I'm like, but
Good team.
yeah, good team, definitely. But in the beginning of the years, I just want to talk a little bit. We had challenges, of course, how he had said earlier. You know, when we started up, it was the lower end saws, a little bit harder. I was really frustrated. We had some saws that didn't have the anti-vibration, and my hands really hurt, and it was just frustrating to begin with. I didn't know much about the maintenance and the different tools and stuff that were out there, so we were all learning. And now there's so much more technology. We have so much more access to things. Back then, only thing we had was books that we could find, and just meeting other carvers, seeing them at fairs and engaging them and learning a little bit about it. But now things have just changed so much. We have so much access with the internet and, just learning, and even Facebook, because you meet that certain carver and once you're their friend, even their contact information comes up, so you can message them and learn through different things like that. So that was my struggles when we first started up. And then I didn't know much about my product that I was making. It just took a long time to learn about the product, the nature of the wood, so that I could talk to customers, because they would ask me something and I wouldn't really know how to tell them how to take care of it or why it was cracking, and it took me quite a while to learn that about the drying process of wood and that kind of stuff. So now it's just easier for me to tell people about the product at the shop. And then when we opened up the business, I didn't realize about the legalities of it and how expensive it was for us to have the shop. So these were just some of the struggles we had in the beginning, just trying to learn about the art, and then we had taken it into a different aspect to open up a business instead of just being a backwoods carver. Because I was working for a financial institution, and I just really enjoyed this. And I told him one day, I said, I would like to not work there anymore and just kind of see what we could do with this. That's how he was carving to begin with. Our shop, we're local. We're just right up the road here too. And he was carving under a tree and was getting a lot of sales. And then that's, I was carving and we started selling. And one day I came home and I said, I just don't really want to be working anymore for somebody else. Let's try to open up our shop. So that was just some of the struggles. But since it was just me there, I had to do things fast because people were always interrupting and there's just always something that's going on. So I just, I wanted to have inventory for when they came in to see. And then, I just started setting up things and doing things fast, and we had a lot of inventory for when people had stopped in. So that's kind of how I got into the whole speed thing, just trying to deal with everything on my own. And being a mom, I call it multi-momented, just doing a bunch of things, So I guess that's just pretty much how I got into the whole speed part of becoming a production carver. And, today, things, like I had said, things have changed. I understand things better, how saws work, how to deal with the public better, and just running the shop more efficiently on my own. And of course, like I talked about, the different ways of learning is very helpful, and participating at different events such here, as a Voos is very helpful learning, because we're all coming to these seminars, we're all learning different aspects of the business and how to do events and stuff like that. So things have really changed. I've learned how to be more aware of the public, how to make relations with the people when they come in, and how to make that sell a little better. I should grab my notes.
Here you go.
Yeah, so with me being there myself, I definitely get a lot of crazy questions. You guys get crazy questions asked, so I'm not allowed. Cool. Yeah, of course I get, did you carve this? No, I'm just standing there, covered in sawdust and deciding to file. Are you the finishing girl? I get that. I still get that to this day. People will stop in the shop. Are you just the finishing girl? I'm like, yeah, I'm just the finishing girl.
How many of them are buried in the backyard?
Buried in the backyard.
Oh, yeah. You need a taser. They just smile and wave. That's what I got. I always get, when's the carver going to be here? And that gets a little annoying. Just as I'm shutting off my saw, I'm going to greet them. And is this all you do? How many of you guys get that? Anybody get that? Is this all you do? Really? It's a lot of work. Of course, how long did it take? Which is harder now because to talk about it. Back then it was easier, but since I'm way more experienced, I do things a lot faster, so I always try to avoid that question. If you tell them it took you 15 minutes or 7 minutes to do that little bear, most likely you won't make the sale. So,
the best answer I've heard is the number of years you've been carving.
Yeah.
It's called 13 years, 15
yeah,
years.
that's what I usually say. Oh, I've been carving 15, 16 years now, and I usually try to divert into something else.
They usually ask another question before you get that one answered anyway.
Yeah. Usually I start talking about the product, like the type of sealers that I put on the product to try to make them more comfortable or know that they're getting a good product. So whenever they ask me a question I'm uncomfortable with, I direct it back to my carving and how to inform them more about the carving. That's usually how I take care of
You ever get
that.
the question as you turn off the saw, do you do this all by hand?
Yeah. I do this all by hand. And well, the best one I've ever had is that wood you're carving.
Yes.
Yes. Which is totally crazy, but we live here, in 219, and there's people coming from all over the place. We get, from Canada, New York, and then lower states are coming up. So there's people from all different walks of life traveling through there. And I'm just a little country girl, so this is kind of all I know. I'm used to everything. But this one lady, she stopped in the shop there a few years ago, gets out in her stilettos and walks up to me as I shut the saw off. And there's 2 triaxle loads probably beside me of wood, because we get our wood brought in, debarked, and then I'll leave it seasoned, so I don't have any bug issues or anything like that. Then I know where all the cracks and everything's going on with it. And, shut the saw off, sawdust, wood piles, and she's, is that really wood? And she's coming over and feeling it, and smelling it, and I'm like ready to do all the senses. Here, taste it, So yeah, I get all kinds of crazy questions. It used to really, really bother me. I don't know, I'm pretty sensitive, so it used to really bother me, some of these questions. But the more I talk to people, it seems like all of us get that. You just shake it off. It takes that. Normally you get built up with people that stop in. They're excited about what you do and they want to learn about it. But sometimes you get that one person who can just say something and it can eat at you for days, So I try to just learn. I tell him about it, that person. And then I just kind of shake it off, because I need to keep myself motivated, and this is what I do, it's what I love. It's not what they want in their life, so they just don't get it. But anyways, we do a lot of shows. Tom and I, we do a lot of shows similar to what Denny does. We have a whole performance show that we do. We have a Mack truck with a stage and entertainment. We have the music, and he's really good, of course, on the microphone. As you see, I'm not so good because I'm used to doing the 30-minute quick car as the performance. But so we've learned tons of stuff over the years, the do's and don'ts of shows. But the most helpful thing for us is definitely be prepared, of course. Keep a list of the things that you need to bring. And we are very good at getting somewhere and saying, honey, did you pack the netting?
No, the netting, yeah.
Where's the sausage at? Of course, but we also try to really prepare even with gas and oil. We make sure we have everything so we're not always running, because the more interruptions you have at the show, the more you lose your train of thought and you just can't stay on task with stuff. So we always really try to be prepared with extra gases, try to make sure we have at least enough for being there, and extra safety equipment, eyeglasses. I'm always dropping mine, losing them, setting them down, Where's it at? Do you have mine? Give me yours. Just the normal things we've learned. Make sure you have your netting. Netting is so important, because I've heard of things happening where people have walked in because there wasn't netting, or even people that have lifted netting up and have gotten cut by other artists. If you don't have it zip tied, just please make sure you have your whole thing cautioned off, so people are taking it upon themselves to do that risk, where it kind of limits you a little more with your liability if they do take it upon themselves. We've had an incident quite a few years back where a lady had taken it upon herself to get in her trailer and broke her ankle, and it was interesting, but it was good. Thank God we did have the netting, and we had caution tape, and we even had a sign that says, do not enter, and we had Carve friends there that had taken pictures, so we had that to back us up, which held out. So, we weren't liable for what she did. So just please protect yourselves.
Did she try to sue you?
Yes.
It never made it that far, but it could have got ugly.
Yeah. So if you are doing demonstrations, please have insurance. Make sure you have insurance, because we know how society is, and if you don't have it, that one little thing could cost you everything you've worked for your whole life. So always have it. And what we do is the certificate of insurance, I call my company, I have them fax it to the event, and then I have a physical copy on me. So I know, everything that's there, and if they lose it, I'm like, here you go. It has your name, your address, or it's additionally insured. I always have that on hand. It's definitely something I really recommend
And
having.
make sure that you know that your insurance requires things like, precaution, certain precautions. My insurance says, make sure your signage or other things that you're cautioning the public.
Yeah. So, they are taking it upon themselves to endanger themselves. You've already put it out front. You took awareness, made awareness to them. Just. Yeah, we have, with our insurance, we have it, it covers our shop, our trailer, if we do stump jobs, all events, but usually fairs, they want you to be additionally insured, so we always have to get an extra insurance put on top of that. But something else that's very, very important, and we found out when that lady went up into our trailer, is that my liability insurance was through a different company than what my automobile insurance was. So when the trailer was it connected to the truck?
It wasn't connected to the truck.
It wasn't connected to the truck, but the insurance, when we were going through all this stuff trying to figure it out, if we were liable and everything, the liability says no because it was part of the truck, and the truck said obviously no because it was a trailer. It was I was a basket case. So if you can get them through the same company, so they're liable, it's their company, Yeah, definitely try to do that. And do hand out your business cards so people can contact you. You want the awareness so people know how to find you and this kind of stuff. Yeah, and if you're being a vendor, you go and you're just setting up, what we found is to price everything ahead of time instead of getting there and pricing, because people are coming up, blah, 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 asking all questions and stuff, and there's a lot of times where I'll mark something wrong or I won't mark it at all, and then somebody approaches me and I just spit out a number that I really didn't want to get for that. I wanted to get more. So just, if you have everything priced, you've already thought about it, it just makes it easier when you get there.
Can I ask a question, Donna? This is probably really weird, but if you don't price your things, do you think people will just pass you by and not buy at all?
Very much so, yes. I do. Because they automatically have it in their head that it's too much. People tend to do that. They just, there's no price, or they don't want to inconvenience you to ask you. Because some people are more like, they just don't want to inconvenience you. People...
Or they're in a hurry.
Yeah,
they just want to look and say, okay.
So if you want the... Oh, sorry. Those, what do you call impulse buyers, you catch impulse buyers better. Oh, that's so cute. I have my credit card, here you go, kind of thing. Yeah, and I've always been taught to mark your things higher because you can always come down, but you can't go up after you have them marked. So that's kind of the thing. I'm terrible with pricing.
He's terrible.
I'm terrible with pricing. He's like, what do you mean it's only your price? So I usually try to have him help me with, even though I'm the one that runs the shop and everything, but I'm more just let me do my thing than figure out pricing wise. Signs, you always want to have a sign saying what type of payments you accept, because a lot of people, they think, oh, you only accept cash, and you lost that sale. But if you do accept their credit cards or checks, definitely. I have ones out front of ours that says that we accept credit cards, and to get our attention if you need us, because like I said, some people don't want to inconvenience, so they will just walk on by. But if I have it stated, wait to me, get my attention if you need help, then they'll more apt to do that, because you opened up that door that it's okay to do that. Copy of your sales tax license. We have been at places where they went around and did the on-the-spot checks, so if you're in your state, make sure you have your license. If you're selling in another state, you're supposed to get a temporary license.
Since we do e-file in Maryland, isn't it okay just to show them that you have an e-file account?
Yeah, probably, as long as you have some type of form saying that you, or your number. Yeah. Like if I forget, normally I have it in our trailers, but I also have it on my phone so I can show them that this is what I have. If you're being paid, a paid performer, like the fairs and stuff that we do, make sure you always have your contract in hand so there's no questions. So they know what's expected of you, because I know for us, different fairs have different situations that we kind of just abide by different things, but we know what's expected of us and they know, and it just makes it a lot easier. So if you're expecting water hookups, sewage things, and different things that you could have in your clauses of your contract, and they don't provide that, you get there and you're in there for 13 days, and you have no way of getting your septic pumped out in your trailer. Definitely make sure you have your contract with you so you know how many pieces you're supposed to do, whether you're supposed to finish them. That they have to hire a professional auctioneer, so they're not saying, oh, well, we thought you were going to auction them off. Always state everything. Make sure everything is stated and have it in writing. So I always carry our contract with us, too. I have something that's real helpful is I have how to take care of your carvings. I put these on all of our pieces that we sell. It has my business card. And then also, I think that's going to bring up under our T&D Carvings website, under functional art, is a paper that says helpful hints on how to take care of the carving. What I used on it, because a lot of people don't understand wood or the nature of wood. How many of you have had...
I have a question for you. Yes. How many of those do you have?
On hand? You're welcome to print it off.
Yeah, we need about 200 of them.
Okay, yeah.
We got a valid concern from one of our people that purchased at the auction.
Yeah, just like we did at the
casino. How do I take care
casino.
of my carving? Do you supply something? And I said, that's a really...
Yeah, well, I have the papers from the casino. I have a whole bunch of those still.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'll bring those down. You can
pass
have
them out at the auction
Sure.
site. Okay? Problem solved.
But yeah, I always get this, because how many of you have had callbacks? Oh, my carving had cracked, and I didn't know it would crack. I never heard of this before. I've actually had that. Somebody called and said they've never heard of wood cracking before. And I am like, have you ever looked down the end of a log to see all the cracks? So this is kind of also my little insurance backup to eliminate people calling, because when we first started, that was another thing. People were calling and asking all the questions. So I usually explain it to them once we make this out, and then I also tell them that this is included. It pretty much explains everything, and then how to maintain it long term, whether you're keeping it inside or outside, just a little helpful hint kind of things. But then I also state that if it is, the crack is a concern, that we will repair it at our barcode shop for a small fee, a carver's fee. But yeah, you're welcome to get on our website and even copy that, change it up to suit your own needs, that kind of thing too. But it helps. We very rarely get people calling us right here saying, hey, because they already know what to expect with it.
Right.
Kind of thing.
I always tell them in the beginning before I sell it to them that all wood's gonna crack, and if it doesn't crack, bring it back and I'll crack it for you. If you don't expect a piece of wood to crack, then you got some problems.
Yeah.
I don't wanna ever give someone the illusion that that wood's gonna look just as perfect as it does, because it's gonna lose moisture eventually somehow.
That's what I tell them.
They keep their heat at like 80 degrees in the winter.
Yeah.
That's gonna make it crack bad.
But that's what I state in there. If you read it, I tell about how the moisture escapes and environmental factors depending on where you're at. Because we've had ones that we've had for a long time, and then you put it in a different thing outside, and even though it's dry, but the weather going up and down, it just tends to mess them up a little bit. So people have an idea of what to expect. But you're more than welcome to get on the website and print that off and rewrite it to suit your own needs too. It's helpful. But these little bags are awesome. These are 4 mil bags. These are the ones that I advise getting. There's cheaper, thinner ones, but if it rains, that's why I like using it, because it has everything in there. But if it rains, it protects them. So you want to get the ones. Amazon is great. I get these on Amazon. I think they're 3x4s, if I remember right. It's just something nice. Yes, I like.
I was just wondering if you do a release cut or a drill, like a hole in the bottom, or do you do any of
No, for ours I don't, because we get our wood cut when the sap's lowest here, and then the bark knocked off, and then I like to try to leave it seasoned. So ours is pretty dry, and then our shop is heated, So a lot of my wood the past few months, it's all that in-floor heat, and it's real dry. It's almost like it's kiln dried. So most of the moisture is pulled out, then I just have them filled. And actually all the stuff that you see up there that we have, these saws here, my electric and battery saws, is what I used and I carved inside. Because I'm here, I live here, but I'm not acclimated to be outside here. But yeah, so that for us, we don't. I've heard of carvers that do, and it really helps. But we just try to, you know, whatever we want to do. Key elements of a successful shop. Well, since my story is supposed to be about production and being the production girl, what I do is I do a lot of production inventory stuff. I'd rather do that over commissions, but I do take commission orders too. I get up at the shop and I set up multiple logs, and then I make sure I have my normal 3 saws that I use all gassed up at the same time. So then I can just start blocking out and getting things taken away and then knocking it down. Instead of keep starting on one, start the same saw, and keep using have to keep starting the saw up. But I set up multiple things to get it done faster, to eliminate that extra having to shut down a saw and grab the same saw that you just had like 10 minutes ago. Normally I take an inventory in my mind and just kind of figure out, what was our best sellers, what do we have in stock, and I just kind of go through and carve those things for the day. But also something that really helps at our shop is when I'm doing a commission piece, most of us take a down payment, right? We usually don't take the full amount, we just take the down payment. Well, then you have to wait once, you get your commission done, but you still have to wait to get paid that money, once they pick it up, they pay in full. So my logic, I guess, is when I'm working on the commission piece, I still always set up a small little log beside me. And Tom, we forgot to show about the spikes.
Oh,
he
yeah,
has this really cool spikes that we make, and I just drop my little log on that and do the little carving. So I'm only taking maybe 10 minutes. I'm making that extra piece. I'm still working on the piece that I'm supposed to be working on, but I'm taking that extra minute, extra 10 minutes or whatever to do that little piece, because there's always travelers coming through, and like I call them passer-buyers. I always like to have a little carving, because that's the norm that they pick up. So I still have money coming in. Yeah, there's the little spike thing there. But I still have money coming in while I'm waiting to fully get paid for that commission piece. It's just always kind of my backup thing. And then since we're a retail shop in the commissions, I like to have lots of things for people to see. So I figure if it's only going to take just a little bit out of my day, I will hurry up and do that so I still have something available. Because the more you have available, the more chances you have to make an income to keep your shop, to make sure you can just keep all your overhead paid for and keep things going. That's just something I've done. But it also helped me learn with production too, to do speed faster, because then I get focused back on my commission I'm working on. Let's see here. Yeah, well, definitely at the shop I still have all my carvings labeled and priced there, because I feel like I live there as it is. I work 5-6 days a week when we are home, and then when we are doing fairs, a good 31 days a month constant. But when we are not there, I have signage everywhere posted, because I have people that help us. So I have signs posted about how to contact us, a couple different numbers, like our cell phone number, our house number. But if we're out, then if somebody calls his cell phone number, then we have people that come help and make a sale. So it's just to try to keep our business meet everybody's needs. It's really hard because you don't want to be married to the place, and for me to hire somebody, it has never worked out. It just hasn't. I spend more time babysitting, and since I'm a production girl, I have to keep moving constantly. And when I have somebody there, I just feel like I'm just babysitting more, and liability and everything. So I just never have had an employee there. But this helps, so we keep making sales, just the signage there. But you can even use that when you do shows, have a sign. Here's my cell phone number. So say you walk up to go get a hoagie and somebody pops by and they see something that they want. If your contact number is there, they can call you and come back and meet them so you don't miss that sale. So that's something pretty important. Thoughts on a commission piece. I'm just not, like I said, I'm terrible giving out bids. I really wish that I had him there because I'm just not so good at that. But I do take them, and it's great because it does challenge me. Right now I'm working on a very difficult piece that I really can't promote and put up yet, but it's really, really challenging me, and it's disciplined me to learn and kind of get out of my norm of things. You know, and then when people come to the shop, they're seeing something different than just the average things that sell there. Commissions are great because they are a guaranteed paycheck, of course, over just carving something and kind of waiting for it. Say I have this big dream in my head and I'm carving it and wait years. You know, I have pieces that have been set up there for years. So commissions are good. It's a guaranteed paycheck. For me, the cons of it is that I am a worrier. If anybody's seen my nails, I'm always fighting them because I just worry. So if I have that posted up there for somebody that I got to do, and I have multiple ones to do, it just really bothers me. I'm a conqueror, so I have to get things done. And for me, that's the biggest con, is that I just worry about getting it done and whether they're going to like it. So any of you guys have that on your heart? You know, are they really going to like it or not? You do too?
No, I would agree with
Yeah, I
you.
know. Because when I do the production stuff, it's just enough. I have that idea of what I'm going to charge for it. And how I justify that is I figure out like how much I have in a day in my overhead, how much time, and then what it costs me to make that. You know, the overhead for the business, but then also what it costs me to make that, down to what that brush costs. Like I have everything just kind of figured out in my head, so I can justify how many production things I can do to take care of that. But when it comes, so I do just enough work into it to get a payment, but when it comes to commissions, I do more than enough work, and you know, it seems like sometimes I underbid things and it doesn't quite balance out. But yeah, I always worry, you know, what's the person going to think? I've never had anybody not like something, at least not tell me that they didn't like it, but it just always worries me, you know, are they going to like it or not? And then also, it always seems that they want to pick it up when it's not convenient for me to be there. Like Sunday we try to keep church and family time, and then, you know, people are like, oh, I'm going to come at 10 o'clock, and they're driving 5 hours away. So commissions tend to be a little bit, I try to only do commissions that are larger. I don't want to be doing everybody's little bears and little, you know, $50 things, because then it's just constantly interrupting our lives. He works a good 10, 12 hour a day, and then with me at the shop, it's, you know, our lives, and we have 3 kids too. We try to get in a balance, but yeah, that's kind of the cons for me with commissions. But like I said, it's a guaranteed paycheck, and if you don't have a shop, you know, that guaranteed paycheck like that is a great thing. So commissions are good. Oh boy. Ed asked me to do a funny story about a commission. This is one of the reasons why commissions I'm kind of hesitant about. This is my funky monkey. This couple had called and asked me to do a monkey that was, all correct in all areas. Now anatomy. And I said, I'm not comfortable with that because, you know, it's a family shop and I have kids coming in, families of kids, you know, coming and check it out. And I said, no. Well, they tracked us down at a festival we were at. And they came from New York, tracked us down at the festival. No, we want you to. And there was other artists at this festival, and I said, no, here, just listen, I can, let me go talk to this one. And they were very persistent, they wanted me to do this. So I ended up taking the order, but it was the hardest thing I ever did, because this monk, you know, every time somebody pull in, I'd have a tarp or something right behind it. But yeah, that's probably the craziest commission I think I've ever had. You can see I can't show the full thing. It would be appropriate. I even blushing thinking about it.
And I take it was a male, Tom.
Yes, it was a male. Yeah, but with production, I just try to manage everything, my time, everything. As soon as I get there, like they say, I'm not sure if any of you guys are really getting anything out of this, but men are more like waffles, where women are more like spaghetti. We're always thinking and trying to figure out what's the next thing and that kind of stuff. So for me, managing my time is pretty easy. I just am constantly thinking of new things to do and what to do next, and I think that's how I got into the whole speed thing. Time suckers are hard to manage your time because they come in, they want to ask a million things. For me, even when we do shows, people approach you. I usually, acknowledge them. At the shop, I just acknowledge them if I'm carving, and then I watch which direction they're going into. If they go into the little gallery, I'm okay. I let them do their thing. And inside the gallery, I have, thank you for stopping, so I'm thanking them for stopping by. And if you need me, if you need my help to make a purchase, come see me. But as they walk out, then I always just kind of watch and see what they're doing. Body language is a key, just watching to see. Because some people, they just are intrigued. They've never seen this before, right? You've got lots of people that are like, I've never seen this before. They just want to ask you a million questions. But other people, they've never seen it before. They just want to look and see what you're doing. But body language is just super important. I watch and see if they're going to approach me. If they come closer and they're just kind of watching, then I go for like a minute, then I shut the saws down. But if they're there a little longer, then if they approach me and then they just start walking away, then I know, they're not really interested. They just wanted to see what the art is. But if they approach me and stop for a while, then I stop my saw within like a minute. And, how are you? Where are you from? But as they start talking to me, some of them, they want to know price, or want to talk about things. Usually prices are always on there, but they want to talk about this or can you do this? So I'll kind of walk around with them. But if they just want to talk about, I saw this person here, I saw this person there, I always have rakes and shovels in my big bins that I put all my stuff in beside me. So as they're talking, I'm doing things that need to be done anyways. I'm shoveling and I'm raking and cleaning, so I'm letting them know I'm still working, I'm listening, I'm engaging to you, but I'm still getting things done that I have to do. So it's just very important to keep moving. If you want to make a go at this, it's very important to keep doing that. So who gets nervous about quick carves? Anybody? What makes you nervous? Pat, what makes you nervous?
I'll not get it done, or it will look just like a piece of crap. Or,
not your work.
Stand by and tell people what it was supposed to be.
That's all carving for you, isn't it?
Yes. Why someone get far away from it?
Well, there's no need to get nervous. The reality of it is, these quick carves that we go to for events, say you're at a competition and they have a quick carve, the reason they do that is because they're trying to generate money to help, because there's just so much expenses that comes into these events. So they're trying to generate some money to help go back into the event. They're trying to generate some money to go for prize money, and also they're looking for a little bit of entertainment. So it's fine. Don't get all worried and stuff about it. I used to, like, nah. It's just fun. It's more entertainment. But what I do is I normally try to just do something that I'm used to, hurry up production, carving things, have that plan in my head. Definitely make sure you have everything with you, because I'm good for forgetting my glasses and run back to the trailer. Always, make sure you have everything with you. It helps so you're not all panicky when you get there. And then, have that plan in your head, because once you kind of make that cut, if you're going to do a bench and you cut your log in half, I'm like, well, maybe I'm not going to do a bench now. Well, you have to, or you got to do something with it, So it's just hard to change your design up to once you make those commitment cuts. What I do is I hurry up and do my just enough. You just get in there, you take away just enough, and then normally they're coming around with signs telling you got 10 minutes, 15 minutes left. And then whatever, if I do get all my just enough done, and then I go through and I just start tweaking and highlighting, pressing into certain areas to accent it more. So that's always helped me with my quick carves. And then try to do something different, like change up motions and stuff, just always trying to come up with something different. Don't worry about, because things happen, right? Let's face it, things always happen. That gas cap, these new goofy, quick changing gas caps and oil caps, if you're in a hurry gassing up this stuff, it comes out all over, and bars are smoking because you're pushing too hard, you're so excited trying to hurry up. You know, you get done with that there, but you were going so fast, you just made it too thin, his ear falls off. So something my husband showed me was super glue and accelerator. You know, he likes to carry that and other flammable things. Fire jelly with him. So that's something that helps. We kind of use that as insurance just to glue things back on real quick. But don't stress about it, because you know, like I said, the reality of it is it's just a lot of it's entertainment. So that's what they want. So if something happens for me, I just, you know, kind of don't make a big deal about it. If I'm doing a bench and I have it all put together, and say I throw a chain, I'll just sit on the bench, you know, just real quick, just to kind of make it fun for the audience, you know, engage them just enough where it's not going to affect you getting that done, but you know, engage them a little more. Like I said, have on there, grab a saw, grab your neighbor's saw, like I usually grab his because I know they're sharper than mine. No, don't grab your neighbor's saw, it might not be good. But yeah, just kind of play with them, because it will also make you more relaxed. So if something happens, just play with them. That's what they want, you know. Just don't worry about it. They love it, and they love when things happen. So normally you can pull it off. I've never seen anybody that hasn't been able to pull it off. Because it's a quick carve. It's just enough. So, you know, don't worry about those. And I see everybody doing quick carves. Getting up there with Dennis Beach, like I did the other day, you guys can all do it. So, I guess that's just pretty much my thing, how I do the production and the quick stuff. It's just mostly because I've been independent and I'm used to doing things fast. Yes?
I have a quick question. I heard somebody ask something or say something about sales tax and materials versus labor. When we, you know, sell a carving, we put, you know, materials and labor in it. So and we're selling it for, say, $300, and we put sales tax on that $300. My labor, when I break out and pay my taxes, you know, federal and so on, I'm paying extra taxes on sales tax as well as my labor stuff if I'm not breaking that out. Do you do that, and how do you do that?
You're not paying it to the customer.
That's only for big commissions, like say, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're doing a service for somebody.
Okay.
It's not, if you're selling the piece as a whole product, it's not the same thing.
Okay.
If you sell that piece to somebody that.
Then I'm doing it right, because commissions I usually break out the labor, and the small stuff I don't. Okay.
If you're doing it in your own shop and you're not doing it at somebody else's location.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Let's hear it for Donna. Thank you. We're going to take a 10-minute break.